Thank you,
Please.
François. Hello, everybody. Thank you to be here. So today I won't present you science and materials, but just how to work with the industrials, companies, and researchers for a common project. So PRIMA means Pôle de Recherche, Innovation, Matériaux Avancés. So it's a hub of advanced materials in Quebec. Before it was called Nano Quebec. People knew Nano Quebec in the past. It changed its name to become PRIMA, but PRIMA is the same as Nano Quebec. And PRIMA, we are from the Ministry of Economy and Innovation and Energy now, and we are 9 hubs in different applications. So, PRIMA is here, and we have also hubs for drugs discovery, CQDM, for aluminum innovation, CQADR, for CRIAC, aerospatial, CRIBIC, bioprocesses, CRITEM, metallics transformation, in a way for innovation in electric energy, MedTech, of course, for technical devices, medical devices, and PROMPT for the TIC. So all the 9 RSRA are working together. All the money comes from the Ministry of Economy and Innovation, and it transits by us, and then it goes to a researcher. Researcher can be in university, CTTT, or research center as the NRC, for example. Advanced materials, what is an advanced materials? I like to take an example of graphite. If you take graphite, you have a basic material here. You can use it as a pen to write, but also as a cathode or to melt aluminum, and this is an advanced materials. You can take also graphite to lixiviate plants and to do graphene, and you have finished and semi-finished products from graphite. And finally, you can integrate graphene into sensors, so you have here processes and instrumentation. I took an example of graphite and graphene, but there are a lot of advanced materials. In fact, if you look at around you, you have advanced material everywhere, in your smartphone, in planes for structure, for carbon dioxide capture system, for solar panels, 3D printing also, a lot of stuff, in fact. Sector of applications. In energy, we don't build batteries, but we have projects in cathodes, anode, electrolytes, also in fuel cells for new catalysts and things like this. So this is what is doing energy and batteries or fuel cells, for example. Transportation, we won't build a plane, but we work with researchers that work on carbon fibers or thermoplastic or composites. Environment, we work with researchers to analyze, for example, PFAS in water. PFAS is very deleterious. And health also, we don't work on drugs, but on cargoes that brings drugs to cancer cells, for example. Advanced manufacturing in robotics also. Construction, we don't work with wood, but from wood we extract the cellulose nanocrystalline that can be used as an emulsifier or a lot of things like this. ICT, in your cell phone, it's crazy how many compounds you have in advanced materials. You think about the in-molding, the touchscreen, and so on. Defense security, armor, but also 5G armor, and others, smart clothing, packaging. Here I can say that we work on printed electronics and also with quantum and artificial intelligence projects. Advantages of Quebec. Just here we did a survey in November 2021 just to have a brief overview of what's going on in Quebec. So we have more than 500 researchers with 11 universities. Fortunately, we have a lot of universities at PRIMA Quebec, so we know very well this ecosystem. 13 CCCT and 7 public research centers. Nearly 475 companies, which represent 45,000 jobs, and it is estimated at 14 billion in total sales here in Quebec. As you can see, 94% of companies surveyed operate in the 3 advanced material sectors: production, integration into finished or semi-finished products, and process development. 98% of companies surveyed are involved in both internal and external research. So it's a good news. Companies are doing research internally or with help of hubs like us, like PRIMA or other hubs. And 48% of companies surveyed have made investment over 1 million since 2018. and 80% of the companies surveyed generate an average of 64% of their turnover from exports. This is a broad idea of what's going on in Quebec. PRIMA Quebec, our role at PRIMA Quebec, it is written here. We facilitate the advanced material ecosystem, and we are at the center of the innovation between industrial and academic sectors. First of all, we support first. So we identify expertise, R&D, and high qualified personal needs, business opportunities. It works in both senses. If a researcher is looking for companies, we are helping the researchers and the other side also. Now, a good news, since April 2022, you need at least one Quebec company to do research with a researcher. Before, it was at least 2 Quebec companies. Now, it's only 1. So you have an idea from tier 1 to 9, you can do a project with PRIMA. Okay. And we facilitate networking, like today, for example, or other events that we support during the year. Infrastructures, we have a website that is called IRDQ, where you can find a lot of equipment. It is Sébastien Gabino which holds this platform. And if you want to look for SCM, TM, XPS, or so on, you go on the website and you Google the keywords, and you can find where you can do the analysis. This is for the SMEs or companies that want to do analysis, but they don't have the equipment for. Okay. Funding, project URL from 1 to 9, as I said. I repeat, only 1 company now. Before it was 2 companies. And this formula works also for the PSO International. And lastly, we outreach when companies or researchers are a PRIMA member. We promote their knowledge, expertise, and so on to make shine. And we create links with foreign partners. In 2019, we had a MOU with Korea. Korea, we have a call, specific call, about how it works. Money from Korea goes to Korea researchers, and money from Quebec stays in Quebec. So if you have an idea with Korea, you can pay both researchers in Korea and Quebec for a common project. This year, bad news, we can just fund 1 project because of Korea. We don't have enough money for getting more than 1 project. Okay. Results, 2015 to 2022. So I can see 131 projects funded at PRIMA only. So it's really a huge amount of projects. $102 million project, so it works with leverage of companies, industrial partners. So money is injected, you have leverage on the provincial part and also on the federal part. And you can go up to 80% of public funding. So a company injects 20% of money, gets 40% from PRIMA and 40% from, let's say, Alliance program, for example. We work with, as I said, 26 academic institutions. This number is not correct. It's more than 240 industrial partners now because we have to renew these numbers in end of March. And this number is huge, 523 masters, PhD, postdoc formed during all these projects here, only at PRIMA Quebec. So just to give you a broad idea of what we've done. The innovation tools that we have NovaCentris. It is a very old platform. It doesn't work pretty well, but if you have a look at this, you know it, you'll see the challenges that SMEs are posting on it. For example, a company says, okay, I want to change my alloy, help me. And then the researchers say, okay, I have a solution, and they can work together. This is how it worked before Google and before LinkedIn and Twitter. It was a good formula. It still works, but not so good. The one is the IRDQ, I spoke about it, for the SMEs to get instruments to work with. A new tool that we launched last year is a CQFA, Carrefour Québécois de Fabrication Additive for additive manufacturing. How it works, we have expertise from the industry and also from researchers. And if you go on the website, you can get help from them. So you just have a look at cqfa.quebec, and it is involved in additive manufacturing for metallic powders, composites, plastics, alloys, and so on. Funding now, as I said, from tier 1 to 9. So this is the scale of innovation. Before it was 1 to 6 only. Now we extended to 9. Between 1 and 3, there is an economic part, which is 30% of notification, of evaluation, sorry. And from 4 to 9, sorry, it's 40% of evaluation economic part. And 60% is scientific. So if you have a good project, but you have no benefits for the economy, you won't pass at PRIMA. This is how we evaluate the project. So you have to do research applied for the industry that injects money. Okay. Yeah, and also SME in Quebec is less than 250 employees, and large companies is more than 250. On federal, it's different, it's 500. So you have a gray zone, and in this case, you ask me how it works, because you have to manage the numbers. And yes, it's a lot of headaches, but finally it works. Yeah, and this is all our calls per year. So as you can see, we have 2 general calls 2 times a year in spring and fall. This is in advanced materials. So here you have also quantum and artificial intelligence and so on when you work with researchers like you here today. But you have also some things for the companies that can work only between 2 companies for quantum technology, for example, or artificial intelligence. And Quebec companies can work together and get money. Okay. And also there's a program, MCS, Critical and Strategic Minerals, 1 call per year that occurred last fall. This year, again, there will be a call like this. And with the Europe, we have 3 calls, Ameranet, Eramin-free, Quantera. And how it works, you need at least 1 Quebec company, 1 researcher in Quebec. And on the other side, in Europe, you need at least 2 different countries with 2 different companies. So you have 3 companies, different, not sisters, and they can work on a common project. And this process lasts at least 1 year. When you have a call, the acceptation and so on, it starts 1 year after. If it doesn't work because a country, for example, doesn't have enough money, we can transform it into a PSO International at PRIMA. So we can just fund it after. Korea, as I said, with NRF here, 1 call per year. This year, unfortunately, it's only 1 call because they don't have enough money. And the other programs, CTEC, it was launched last fall, is for SMEs only in Quebec. We just pay the expenses. Examples and case story. So this is a case story with Professor Ludovic Martineau at Polytechnique Montreal. You know what he is doing? He just does coatings for optics, energy, manufacturing, and aerospace. And he had Essilor France with his project, Guardian Industries in the US, Velan in Quebec, and Pratt & Whitney Canada, here located in Longueuil. What they did, they found a common project for all these different applications. And he had a chair for 5 years, and he just renewed it in 2022 for, again, 5 years. You have to know that at Alliance, you can get money from the Alliance for 5 years, but at PRIMA, it's for 3 years only. But you can do 5 years, but you have to be analyzed again at PRIMA after 2 years. But it's possible to get a 5 years funding for a big project like this one, for example. Another one in quantum chemistry and carbon nanotechnologies with 1 qubit and ARM nanotech. So this is a project shared between 2 companies, okay, on a quantum application. So there was a quantum call in Quebec. In fact, there are quantum calls every year, by the way. And the goal here it was to use quantum chemistry and carbon technologies to evaluate how to capture the humidity and to transform it into water vapor to harvest people that don't have water. Okay, this is a little weird, but this is how it works. It's nano compounds that absorbs the humidity and releases water from this application. You have either sources where if you are curious to see how it works, it will be a pleasure also to me to explain you more in details, but don't have enough time, but this is a project that is supported by PRIMA also. These two companies are in Quebec, by the way. So if you want to contact them, I have no problem to give them to you if you want to work with. Another example in water and advanced materials with Patrick Droghi and Ali El-Kakani. Here you have an example of what occurred in Lac Mégantic in 2013. You had a fire, and to extinguish the fire, you have PFAS in water, and PFAS is a forever chemical. It is very hard to analyze it, so the project is to analyze the PFAS at low level with UDM, with Sébastien Sauvé. And at NRS, Energy and Materials, they do the titanium decorated to electrooxidate the water to erase the PFAS in water. This is this kind of product here. Thanks to Rio Tinto, iron, and titanium, so they supply the titanium, and the INRS is just changing the surface of titanium to get more specificity. If you have any questions, we are 4 advisors. You can contact us anytime, anywhere, not in the night. But we are here to help you to do research. But the formula, number 1, is to get at least 1 Quebec company. And after, you can do whatever you want. You can be funded up to 1.5 million for 3 years, including the indirect fees. It's our pleasure to help you to find out how you can work with Quebec companies and also with foreign partners. So I'm done. Thank you.